Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. This is Tanush, and today we'll be discussing about the transit of Venus into the sign of Sagittarius, which will be happening tomorrow, that is on 30th of October. So I'll try to discuss about what is the relevance of Venus in the sign of Sagittarius, and I plan to keep the results of each ascendant very brief. So that is the plan. Let us see how things will unfold. I have got many messages, many emails asking what is ascendant and how do we see the sign, the results of the transit. So I'm going to make a separate video and what is ascendant and how do we see the results from ascendant, right? So to start off, what is Venus? Venus is the planet of romance, of love. Venus is pleasure seeking. It likes to enjoy the life, right? It represents good food, good clothing, going out, enjoying, spending money on pleasure, comforts, luxury, cars, long drives. So lot many things it presents, right? Mainly it is a planet which focuses on enjoying the life. Now, Venus is transiting into the sign of Sagittarius, which is owned by Jupiter, and they both have different viewpoints, right? So, Venus focuses on enjoying the material world, whereas Jupiter, or the sign of Sagittarius as well, it focuses on basically on understanding the purpose of life. So, both they are kind of different in their values and principles and their beliefs, right? So now Venus, let us first see what the sign of Sagittarius means. So the sign of Sagittarius, so because the Sagittarius is 9th in the natural Kalachakra Kundali, so it represents higher knowledge, it represents our beliefs, religion, gurus, travel to different places of pilgrimage, higher learnings. It also represents higher studies like PhDs, master's degrees. It also represents long journeys to foreign lands. It also represents our fortune, meaning our future. So these are all the things which Sagittarius represents. And when Venus, basically, which is the planet of enjoyment, it doesn't want to get bound in all these things, enters into the sign of Sagittarius, it is kind of little uncomfortable, and it is forced basically to exhibit the values and its behavior with the significance of Jupiter, right? So now it has to adapt to what Sagittarius represents. So now Venus starts taking pleasure in learning higher principles, or it is forced, we can say, but that is how it exhibits itself. So it takes pleasure in learning higher principles, higher studies, traveling to places of pilgrimage, traveling to foreign lands. So it adapts to what basically Sagittarius believes, right? So now let us see in brief how this transit is going to impact each of the ascendant, right? So now to start with Aries or Mesha Lagna, Venus is going to transit into your 9th house, and Venus is the lord of your 2nd and 7th house, right? So obviously 9th house is a natural house of Sagittarius, where the principles of Jupiter are very strong. Now Venus is trying to adapt there. So what it means is that you will be forced to basically learn new things, or learn, you might get interested in learning philosophy. You would be, traveling to different places of pilgrimage, or this also indicates travel to foreign lands, right? But it would be more like traveling for a short-term trip and then coming back. So Venus from here, it aspects your 3rd house. So third house also represents travels. So you are bound to travel during this time. It may be a short-term travel, or it may be a long-term travel, to long-distance places or to short places, and you will try to enjoy your travel, and your travel will mostly be related to something, some sort of learning. It may be a learning trip, or it may be to a place of pilgrimage, right? And you might also, because it is a lot of your second house, it also indicates that you might travel with your family, again to the place of pilgrimage, or to a place of learning, right? Now for Taurus ascendant, this is transiting to your 8th house, and it is Lord of your 1st and 6th house, so it is Lord of your ascendant. Now this is a tricky transit for you, because Venus being the Lord of your 6th house also, and which is its Mool Trikon Rashi. Now the 6th house Lord in 8th house is not considered very good, right? So it implies some minor health issues, specifically related to stomach or liver. So your daily routine would go off track. You will not be able to keep track of your timetable, or whatever you plan for the day may actually not work out for you. And this is the time, if you have any court cases, you will see that it will not go in your favor, or it might get into pending mode, right? Now for Gemini ascendant, Venus is transiting into your 7th house, and it is Lord of your 5th and 12th house, right? So 7th house Venus is actually comfortable, because 7th house is house of marriage as well, and Venus in one way signifies marriage, right? So Venus represents that emotional bonding with the partner, love and affection we extend to the partner. So it represents many things. So Venus is kind of comfortable in this house, and because it rules this 5th house of knowledge, of gaining new things, also 5th house also represents romance, also traveling to different places, learning new things, so which is also the quality of Sagittarius, right? So now all these qualities are exhibited through the 7th house, meaning you will try to enjoy your life with your life partner. You will go on long distance travel or short distance travel, but all those travels will be quite comfortable, and you will enjoy those travels. You might get into learning new things, right? New things. You might see a tendency of to get inclined towards spiritual life, to understand what is spiritual life, so that tendency would be there. And because it's also the Lord of 12th house, travel would be certain for you. So overall it's a good transit for you, not so bad. Now for Cancer ascendant, the transit is into your 6th house, and Venus is the Lord of your 11th and 4th house, right? So two good houses Venus is holding, and now it is transiting into your 6th house, right? So 6th house is not considered so good. So what we can expect is your environment at home will not be so comfortable, right? So at times you may feel irritated due to some additional responsibilities which you might get. You might have to take some additional responsibility, especially towards your mother. So that might imply, probably you might help her to come out of some health situation, or you might have to take her somewhere out to to some places of work. So many things. So at that front you will be a little uncomfortable, but again it's Lord of your 11th house also. So this implies that you will be a little active in your network circle. So this is the time where you would like to connect your friends, especially those who are connected to some spiritual organization, right? So you will connect to them, try to understand the higher principles of life, because that is the Jupiterian quality, right? So overall it's an average transit for Cancer people or Karka Lagna people. Now coming to Simha Lagna or Leo ascendants, the transit is into your 5th house, and Venus is the Lord of your 10th and 3rd house, right? So because it is lot of your 10th house, the environment at your office will be little tense, not much. You will be kind of forced to learn something new. So which might be a new technology, new domain, or you might be forced to take some certification during this period, and that might create little irritation for you at this point of time. But overall, if you look from a longer perspective, it's going to be very good for you. So you will gain from that. It's going to help you in the future. So if that situation arises, then take that with a positive outlook. Now it's a lot of your third house also, meaning you will have to travel. You might travel with your kids especially, and especially for people who are in the cinema and acting fields, this transit is going to be very good for them. They are going to get into new roles and learn something very good, which will help them in the future for sure, right? Now coming to Virgo ascendants or Kanya Lagna, Venus or Shukra is transiting into your 4th house, and it is lord of your 9th and 2nd house, right? So two good houses. And it's also transiting into the 4th house, where Venus is little comfortable there, being there. So what does this imply is that, because it's again the lord of your 9th house, so it implies that if you were planning to get into certain higher studies, and you had any doubts about which stream you need to take, so this transit is going to give you that clarity, right? So you will get admission into whatever studies you wanted to take. You'll be clear about what you want to do during this time. And it's also the lord of 2nd house in the 4th house, indicates that you will have get together with your extended family. So your uncles and aunts, so everyone coming together in your place, right? And that is going to give you a lot of pleasure. So it's going to be a good transit for Virgo or Kanya Lagna. Now coming to Libra or Tula Lagna people, this transit is into your 3rd house, right? And it is obviously lord of your ascendant as well as the 8th house. Now it is surely it will make you communicate more with people. So you will be forced to communicate which you might not like, and also it's going to bring in some sudden transformation. So if you are in a role where you are working alone or in silos, as they say, right? So this transit might force you to take up some responsibility where you have to communicate with masses, right? So you'll be communicating with many people, and your communication is going to be quite good during this time, and you will be appreciated for that. So this might come as a sudden thing, so be prepared for that. Overall it's going to be good, because obviously it is lord of your ascendant, so it won't do so bad for you. It is going to be a good one for you, right? Now for Scorpio ascendant, the transit is into your 2nd house, and Venus is the lord of your 7th and 12th house. So 2nd and 7th and 12th house, they are considered as Maraka houses. So you need to be little careful again with your health, because even Mars is also giving you some issues right now, and Venus would add to that, right? So on the positive note, you will try to enjoy with your partner during this time. You will go out and try to eat very good food. So you'll be fond of having good food during this time, food which you like. So you might go out and have food, and you might spend a lot of money on comforts like traveling, eating outside. So the downside would be you might face certain issues like stomach infection or something related to the throat, right? So throat infection or some allergies, nothing major again, but you have to be careful during this period. Now for Sagittarius ascendant, this is happening in your ascendant itself, and it is the lord, like Venus or Shukra is the lord of your 6th and 11th house for Dhanu Lagna or Sagittarius ascendant, right? So during this period, you would now get into slightly into a different mode of enjoying the life, right? So you might get into you might get thoughts wherein you want to improve your personality, like look good, like wearing good good outfits, having good haircut, and try to be impressive. So Venus would get those feelings in you, and because it is a lot of your 11th house as well, so you would now want to go out with your friends, with your network circle, and that is how you want to enjoy your life, right? So you might spend some amount of money during this period, and you might have some issues or some difference of opinion with your network circle, but that is fine. It's a temporary transit, so nothing to worry much about that, right? So now coming to Capricorn or Makar Lagna, this transit is happening into your 12th house, right? And Venus or Shukra is a lord of your 5th and 10th house. So it is a Yoga Karaka planet for you, right? So one of the best planets for Makar Lagna or Capricorn ascendant. So this surely brings in travel for you. You will be traveling during this period. So because the lord of 10th house in the 12th house indicates that if you were supposed to travel on some business trip or travel for job purpose specifically to a foreign land, then this transit is going to bring travel to you, right? So be prepared for that, and that travel will be extremely beneficial for you. So overall it's going to be a good transit. The only downside is that you will get into a tendency of spending a lot of money because it is a lot of your because the transit is happening in your 12th house. So again, the 5th house lord in 12th house indicates that you will travel to foreign land, and from there you might actually gain basically knowledge, some knowledge or some new thing from foreign places. Also, if you are into speculative business, then you have to be a little careful during this time, because your 5th house lord is now in the 12th house of expenses. So you have to be extremely careful. People who are in share markets and other speculative business, right? Now for Aquarius or Kumbha Lagna, the transit is into your 11th house, and 11th house transit is considered to be good. And Venus or Shukra is lord of your 4th and 9th house. Again, a Yoga Karaka planet for you, right? Because it's lord of a Kendra and a Trikona house. Now this transit is going to be extremely beneficial, especially for Aquarius or Kumbha Lagna people. Now what you can expect is you can expect a lot of support from your family, especially from your mother. They'll give their full support for you in different aspects. Travel is surely on the card, so you can expect traveling. And if you have any plans to travel to foreign lands, especially, this is a time where you can go. Or, if you have any plans to travel to places of pilgrimage or, far off places along with your family, then this is the right time for you. So it's going to be a very good transit for Aquarius or Kumbha Lagna people. Now for Pisces ascendant or Kanya Lagna, the transit is into your 10th house. So 10th house, as we know, is the house of career, right? And it is lord of 3rd and 8th house for you. So this is going to create a certain uncomfortable situation at your workplace. So suddenly you'll see, things are not very comfortable for you. You might see some sudden change, because it's lot of your 8th house as well. You can expect some sudden change in your role, or you might get suddenly into a new project, or you might get some additional responsibility, and you'll not be comfortable doing that. So that would be either new one, or it would not be one of your choices basically. So you'll be forced to take that, and with the additional responsibility, it also brings in communication with a larger group. Also you'll find some issues with your younger siblings, but again, this transit is temporary, so just hang on, probably within 40-45 days again Venus is going to change, so that would sort out the issues. So guys, these were my thoughts on transit of transit of Venus in the sign of Sagittarius. So I'll be back with another video, especially I want to clarify the ascendant, what is ascendant and how do we see the predictions from the ascendant and the moon sign as well. My predictions are mostly based on ascendant, and I have started giving the timestamps in the description section for all my videos. So thank you so much for watching, and if you like my video, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.